Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good day.
Good hiding.
Good night.
Good sense.
Good tidings.
Good to be here.
Good trousers.
Good takeaway.
Good one.
Good football.
Goodness.
Hey,
I thought I was gonna
Loch Ness. There we go. Excellent.
Well, that was the Loch Ness game, which isn't a game, and it's not about Loch Ness.
But this is the Benji Nick Show, your number one podcast in the known world for vintage television TV from the past, TV you might remember, TV you might want to forget. We review it, we look at it, we think about it, and we let you know whether it's worth your time, quite frankly.
Yeah. I'm not Benji.
And I'm not Nick. This week we're doing Under the Mountain, a New Zealand televisual feast. Children's television program. We'll be talking about that one later on.
From 1981, I believe. Is that right?
Certainly was 1981, and also made into a film later on. I think around 1999 or something.
Yeah, I think
maybe 2002 could be something like that.
I thought it was 1999. Space with Sam Neill. Anyway, yes, and also Shelley Dean will, of course, be with us to discuss that later in the podcast.
2009. 2009. Wow, yeah. Own goal there,
yeah. So we'll be with Shelley in about. I better tell her, haven't I? Oh, I've just seen your WhatsApp message telling me about your tuna.
Yeah, it was very nice too.
And before we get to talking about Under the Mountain, we will be reading out some emails from you sent to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com.
Certainly will.
But let me just message Shelley. Hold on a sec. We'll be with you in about 20 minutes, should we say?
Oh, I reckon 15.
All right. Okay, so this first one is from Nicholas Ferraza, and the subject is public service, bowling, and death. This was sent on the 9th of July in the year 0507. Very early on there.
Good, very early, yeah. Not a lot happened then.
Greetings, Benji and Nick. As you prepare to discuss UK public service videos, though you will have already done so by the time this email finds you, correct, Nicholas, I thought I'd quickly share, I was going to say shickly queer, with you a rather infamous public service video from Australia. Already, as you read this out, every Australian listener of a certain age knows exactly which video I'm about to describe. Wow. It was an infamous AIDS awareness ad from 1987 that served not only to create awareness about the AIDS virus, but to also traumatize an entire generation of Australian children. The ad in question features human beings being lined up as bowling pins as the Grim Reaper bowls them all down, a representation of the damage the AIDS virus was doing at the time. It features many shots of mutilated corpses strewn across the floor, and it even shows a baby getting killed. This is awful. This somehow aired on primetime television in Australia and is still talked about today, almost 35 years later. It has become, for better or for worse, an iconic piece of Australian media. Here's a link to the ad in question. Abandon all hope, ye who click. I'm not going to click it.
It is pretty horrifying. I mean, you actually see a baby being hit with a bowling ball. And then at the end, once all the people have been crushed by the thing that presumably, gets rid of the bowling pins, it zooms out and you see that there's not just one Grim Reaper doing it, but loads of them doing it. It's pretty horrifying. The face as well, it's a proper skeletal face. I
might have a look later from under his
pretty horrifying, to be honest, isn't it?
Wow. On the topic of your recent discussion on hyperdrive, I also wanted to make a TV show recommendation. As you're both clearly fans of Nick Frost, and let's be honest, who wouldn't be? Have you ever thought about discussing the 1999 TV show Spaced? It was the first big collaboration between Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, and Edgar Wright, and set the foundations for their future movie projects such as Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Though not a science fiction show, everyone involved were clearly big sci-fi nerds. So the entire program is littered with references to franchises, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who. Although not every element has aged quite as well as one might like, I still consider it one of my all-time favorite British comedies and would love to hear your thoughts on it. Kind regards, Nick, sent from just over there, he says. The thing about have you ever seen Spaced, Benji?
I love Spaced. I love the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of it is the incredible gunfight sequences that they do in the flat. So fun. Oh, so funny.
What, with real guns?
No, just their hands, and they go. And then they and they get the ketchup out and just flounce around. It's so good. It's filmed wonderfully.
I've tried it several times and not got on with it. Isn't it weird?
It's one of those ones. It's very Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Edgar Wright, I suppose, which is what it is.
I do. I love their movies.
It's one of those ones, chill out one evening, grab a beer, sit down and watch it, and just try it out. And you might get on there. It's funny how some things you just suddenly can click with, and others you just can't. It's a weird one.
You say chill out with the beer. I just received a box from Fortnum and Mason with 4 bottles of wine in.
How peculiar, because my sister received a hamper from Fortnum and Mason yesterday.
Good Lord.
With wine and food in. Yeah,
it's weird. How queer. I mean, I think it'll do me a lot of damage, that box.
Best boxes often do. Okay.
Have a look at this one.
Oscar Weston here sent an email to us on the 2021-07-08 in the year of our Lord 1257. Subject, brilliant podcast. Must be talking about another one then. Dear Benji and Nick, I just started watching podcasts recently and they are absolutely brilliant. I sadly did not get to wait 5 million years for each part of Inferno, but I'm glad I came in before the Daleks' master plan. Going back a couple of millennia and currently watching your Catweasel video. Oh, aye, boy. I never got to see Catweasel, but I did tune into Wurzel Gummidge, which was an experience. I love a bit of Wurzel. P.S. We need to get this moustache back, Nick. I mean, it's just majestic.
What
I don't remember you ever having a moustache.
Well, I've got one with a beard, but I don't know whether that counts.
Maybe you had to shave it off once, and I don't know.
Well, anyway, this next one's called Bidebeck, Becks, whatever, a Bidebeck. This was sent on the 7th of the 7th in the year 1508 by Miles Parrish. An interesting contributor. In fact, he draws attention to that. He said, "Hi, Benji and Nick. I'm writing from the past again. Today it is the 27th of January, 2019, which means I'm about to get a new girlfriend. Social distancing remains a phrase yet to be coined. And on the podcast today, you're talking about the Bidebeck affair."
Amazing, yes.
It's actually July the 7th, 2021 when I'm writing this. The new girlfriend is now my long-term partner. Phew. And I was hoping we were going to avoid a tragedy there. And we are so socially distanced that she's in Southport, Merseyside, and I'm in Perth, Western Australia. And you most recently talked about hyperdrive. But because I remain very, very behind, I'm writing to you about the Bidebeck affair. Earlier today, I listened to the podcast in which you discussed it, and episode 1 has been this evening's viewing. It is an absolute delight, in capital letters, writes Miles. The best analogy I can think of it to describe it is that it's like The Good Life, but more fun, more substantial, and more authentic. The music, fab. The performances, electric. The chemistry, sparkling. Agreed. I'm not sure about the Good Life analogy, but interesting. Listening to your podcast continues to be the gift that keeps on giving, though I shall certainly be giving Tenko a miss. We did rather give Tenko I felt terrible because
I feel bad about that, and it's really good. I think we just battered that first episode to
we
death,
should have watched more. Yours historically, Mars Parish. P.S. I confess to having skipped ahead to your recent podcast and was, as promised, well chuffed to hear not 1 but 2 of my emails read out. Make that 3 now. I did end up taking the risk of fever dreams and watching the Stone tape followed by the Sweeney. But nothing, not a sausage. Considering your suggestion of dreaming about Regan from the Sweeney, I don't remember any of it. A dress, really? Sausages Mayweather featured. So I'm grateful nothing came to pass. Now, you see, Miles, you're at an advantage over us because you have heard old Benji and Nick podcasts.
We were talking about that the other day, Nick. You've got no excuse. This was a joke from the other day, possibly last week. Yeah.
Sausages and Regan in a dress.
Well, we were talking because we were given the question of I don't know whether to watch the Stone Tape or the Sweeney, and I think along the line I said why don't combine them both and just have Jack Regan in a dress in a cellar screaming a lot, and that was the joke.
I see. Yeah, I do vaguely recall that. Sorry about that. Listen, I just want to do another one from T.E. Hodden here.
T.E.
It's an extra email, but T.E. it deserves one. This was sent on the 6th of the 7th in the year 2031 in the future. Evening all. As per your request, I have managed to assemble an assortment of clones, lookalikes, and cosplayers to help Mr. Briggs meet his many conflicting commitments on the convention circuit. None are quite what you requested, but I think you will be impressed. Mirror Universe Nick, the one with the eye patch and fencing scars, will be assigned to cover your autograph commitments. Chicago Speakeasy Nick will pose for photographs, but only in front of a height chart holding an arrest number. I love that. I should do that for any photo opportunities, shouldn't I? I should have an arrest number. Parsons Nick wants to host panels and talks, but will have to stop running them to the rules of just a minute. Mandela Effect Nick will host the podcast, but will insist you did watch a movie called Kazam. Undead Nick will only appear in the background of photos that were meant to be of something else. Astronaut Nick will run around conventions grabbing random guests and demanding to know what year it is and who the president is. What's that a reference to?
It's in every old film. What year is it? Who's the president? What place of man is this?
Ape Nick will relentlessly chase Astronaut Nick. Oh, here we go. Not Benji will only sign your autograph if you solve a riddle, win a game of Loch Ness, and cross his palm with silver. Conspiracy Nick will refuse to answer any questions. And if none of these work, we will set up a laptop with text-to-speech capability. Hope nobody asks it about Patrick Troughton.
Patrick Troughton. Patrick Troughton.
Yeah. Patrick Troughton. I hope this helps, T.E. Hodden. It helps immeasurably, T.E.
T.E. Hodden. Well, that all of those scenarios are now splayed out for us, so we can enjoy them at our leisure. We're now fully prepared for the future.
Yeah.
Talking of the future from across the seas, it's Shelley Dean rocking in as we speak. There we go.
It's like time travel magic. Hi guys.
She's moving around. Oh, it's weird.
It's all right. We're all in place now. It's fine.
Okay. Well, for
Funny
those of you watching the
Faces
video,
headquarters.
Yeah,
yes, that's
an
what
old.
it says on our video.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Sorry, I'll
Hello.
change it. There we go. How's
Funny
it going?
Faces. Hey.
It's very stormy here.
Is it really?
Stormy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely here. Lovely sunshine.
Stormy.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
no, we're
Lovely sunshine.
we're getting Elsa is working her way up the coast.
That's
Oh,
a
they've not
storm,
called
is
it Elsa,
Hurricane.
have they? Storm
They have
Elsa.
called it Elsa. Hurricane.
Hurricane
Hurricane.
Elsa.
Upgraded to a hurricane. They go
See-
alphabetically, so I guess we're at the E's now.
Yeah, I always like them when they're, slightly more sort of conventional, like Storm Bernard. Yes,
Ralph.
it is a
Hurricane
Ralph.
Ralph.
Tarquin. You can trust those storms. They might wreck your
Did you ever
garden,
get? We must, since we're back at sort of Elsa territory, we must have got to the letter Z at some point. Was there a hurricane with a Z?
Hurricane Zachariah, Zebediah. Hurricane.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Hurricane Zeta. They had
Yeah.
Zeta, and Zeus.
Zeus.
The last one,
That's
Hurricane
very
Zeta.
ominous.
Yeah.
I'm the god of whatever. Zeus is the god of all gods. God of war.
Yeah, he's
God of all
I'm
gods.
horrible with my.
Mars is the god of war, isn't it?
Mars
no, Zeus is
is.
the god of all.
He's
the
the god of gods. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
You were right.
He's
You were
he is
right.
yeah.
I was right, and I so easily was persuaded to not believe in
No.
myself.
I know.
That's the title of my memoirs, by the way. Anyhow,
That's good. I like it. We're going to do Under the Mountain, aren't we?
yes, we are.
I've got
Under
a
the
feeling you
Mountain.
need to tell us a lot of things about
I
that,
have some
Shelley.
stuff. Yes. Under the Mountain is an 8-part New Zealand television series based on the 1979 novel written by Maurice G. It
Oh.
first aired in 1981 and was produced by Television New Zealand. And it is a story that follows the adventures of twins Rachel and Theo on their Auckland summer holiday. They meet the mysterious Mr. Jones, who enlists them into the battle against the evil Wilberforces, who are plotting planetary destruction.
Obviously.
And I had a very hard time saying evil Wilberforces. Just
Evil
so you know.
Wilberforce.
Yeah,
did it
my
twice.
mouth just wrapped.
Evil Wilberforce.
Evil Wilberforces.
Ilverforces.
Yes.
Now, am I right in thinking that episode 1, it seems to be available on YouTube, and then there's a big gap, isn't there, to episode 5?
I got all of them.
Wow, mine went to episode 5, and I couldn't find.
I'm pretty
the
sure I've got them
intervening
all as
episodes.
well.
What is
Yeah.
wrong with me?
Into the
Well, I only watched
mountain.
episode 1
Under
and a
the
bit
mountain.
of episode 5, and there was a clip from one of the other episodes, which is a fantastic clip when they're in the evil Wilberforce's house.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
the
they're all
guy
on there,
comes
Nick.
with
They're
music.
all on there.
But that's really weird. Just went 1, 5, 6, 7, 8 for me. I love the fact also that Benji and I have talked about outside the podcast, the music is incredible because it's a full score and it's done by an enormous orchestra, which is kind of like much classier than the general standard of the production, isn't it?
It gives it the atmosphere that it deserves. That's the one thing I would say about this thing. You know, for me, what I enjoyed about it was the general atmosphere throughout the whole thing. And the music really played into why I thought that was so good. You know, watching it, you know, it's the type of thing like I wasn't watching it necessarily for the story. Actually, I was just enjoying the kind of the characters and the way it was all put together, that wonderful atmosphere and the music. God, it's so tasteful, so well composed and well put together by the New Zealand Philharmonic Orchestra, I believe.
What's the name of the composer? Bernie, someone, isn't
Bernie. I tried to find out more about him, but
Bernie Allen.
Bernie.
But every
This
time
is
you click on
Bernie.
Wikipedia, every time I click his name, it just comes up with a baseball player called Bernie Allen.
Yeah, there's a lot of these people that were in this aren't on Wikipedia, and their IMDb pages have literally one of the most interesting things I discovered was that the kids who played the twins, the teenage twins,
Yes.
neither one of them ever did anything else.
And they're good, aren't they?
And they were great. And ironically, I also watched the 2009 movie starring Sam Neill.
Yeah.
The twins that played the roles in that also have never really done anything else.
What?
The curse of television.
So I
The
was
Wilberforce
like,
curse.
what? It was just peculiar to me because I thought the kids that were in the miniseries were fantastic.
Yeah, really good.
I really,
They're good
because I
kids.
can critique child actors all day long,
It
but
can be a real letdown, can't it?
right,
About
right.
child
Because you
acting,
can tell that they're just doing line reads. Someone's off stage saying, "Say this," blah blah blah, and they're like, "Da da da."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they were very good. To me, it's got a real Doctor Who feel to it. The sound effects are very
definitely.
Doctor Who, aren't they? All that.
the monsters were very Doctor Who.
It
Yes,
feels quite Douglas
slightly
Camfield,
crummy.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's got a
that-
Douglas Camfield kind of vibe, I think.
The
going
director,
through it.
Douglas Camfield. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of
just-
the big notes I wrote while I was watching it. Was like very Doctor Who-y to me. Even just the way they laid out the storylines and the cliffhangers at the end of each episode, and it was I really enjoyed it. I thought I what I did was I took myself and I kind of put myself into the frame of mind of if I was a kid watching it.
Yes. Yes.
Because obviously, as a woman of my age, I have
Stature,
slightly different opinions. But so I watched it with that kind of eye, and I can only imagine how terrifying that was as a child to watch this. Like when their faces were getting all oozy and melty,
Yeah.
changing.
Really?
It was like, and the way, and even the guy who played the main Wilberforce guy.
Mm.
He didn't even
was
need
great.
makeup, and he was terrifying.
He was.
So I thought, putting aside obviously the cheesiness of the fact that it was the late 70s, early 80s, the
Got that
costuming
vibe.
was horrendous. But you kind of have to just go, all right, grain of salt. I'm gonna just watch this.
I think
for
this
the
the
story.
saddest thing about it really is just the fact that it's so difficult to find a good quality copy because I watched it on YouTube where it looks like not only is it a dodgy VHS copy, but it's really poor quality. And I tried to seek it out so that I could watch it in good quality to enjoy it for what it is. And once it does actually exist on DVD, Region Zero, so anybody can watch it.
Right.
It's just so hard to find. I could not find a copy of it. It's just sold out. Must have been a small printing, or they probably didn't expect it to sell. But it's a shame because
I heard of it until a couple of weeks ago.
No, never had I. And watching it, it's really good. It's a real hidden gem. It's one of those. But again, it's like all countries have them, don't they? These programs that are really good and yet never really go on to particularly have much.
Well, they
success.
hit well in their own country, but
absolutely.
Then
My Mother the Car.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't bring that up again.
The pride of Americans is
It
My
is.
Mother the Car.
Oh my God.
Donald Trump's favorite program.
Oh.
But I thought this was really good. I just, I tell you, that bloke, the guy who sort of weirdly says, but I'll see you in the future, or whatever he was going on about.
Yes. That's played by Sam Neill in the film, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. Don't you think if this was a television production based in the UK, that role would definitely go to Patrick Troughton? Yeah. It's just such a Patrick Troughton role. I saw him and thought, I was like, this is the Patrick Troughton character, isn't it? Really?
Well, it's like the guy in the Box of Delights that Patrick Troughton played. Yeah,
similar, definitely similar. Yeah. Probably why I thought of it, to be honest.
This is and that's it. This is a Sunday afternoon kids series, isn't it? For the UK, isn't it? This is the kind of thing. It's just lovely, and I will get all the episodes in the right order and watch them, and I will pay £2.49 to rent the movie off YouTube as well. I was going to do that. I just ran out of time. I'm fascinated by it. It's lovely.
Yeah. The movie was different.
Not worth £2.49.
No, I don't know if it's worth £2 anything. But
imagine making a film and somebody's review is it wasn't worth £2.49. Some places that
sorry, production company of Under the Mountain 2008.
Sorry, what were you going to say? Hold on, Shelley. What was your assessment of the movie?
Because obviously it's 30, 40, however many, I can't do maths, years later. And so they had more ability to zazz up the production value.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. Yeah.
So the special effects obviously were amazing, but it was definitely more, I don't know, it was more horror movie.
Yeah.
The movie was more horror than sci-fi to me. Whereas,
but the TV series, just from episode 1, I could see for that period, it was quite horrifying.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
so
I
can see why they went with that vibe for the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they changed. I know that there's obviously this is based on a book, so we're never gonna get everything that's in the book. So I don't know what was in the book and what wasn't. But in the movie, Mr. Jones. Yes, probably on a white page.
Well done, guys.
Mr. Jones in the show zapped with light.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he's the fire raiser. So he makes fire with his hands and stuff, and he can teleport, and there was no flying. That scene was so funny when they were
there's flying in the TV series.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Can you see the strings?
It's just, you can't see anything watching it the way Benji and I watched it. The quality, it was like, I was lucky. It took me like 2 episodes to actually see what the aliens looked like when they were like in their slug form, because the quality was just,
quality was
rubbish. It was horrible.
Sort of adds to it though in a weird sort of horror-like way. It reminds me of when I used to, there used to be a shop, I've mentioned it on here before, a shop called Old and Gold in town. Gold. And I used to go in there and just buy like any old VHS of things. I used to just go and buy really like rubbish horror movies and that. Because I was watching my thinking was when everybody else was buying DVDs, I would save money by just owning everything on VHS. and this applied to so many things. Really did. This applied to like
instead of moisturizer.
Honestly, it was I used to buy all my Doctor Who's on VHS. Then one day I was like, "What are you doing, man?" But I used to love watching the old horror films on VHS because the quality would often be really bad from where they've been watched a million times. But it would add to it. I'd be like, "This is like there's something good about this." I feel like I remember distinctly watching what's the film Poltergeist. which is all right. It's not the best film. But I remember being like,
"How dare you, sir!"
It's a good film. It's a good film, but that opening sequence with the woman in the car is ridiculous.
It's to add a little brevity to start it out before it scares
why
the
does the ghost
absolute
have
Jesus out of you.
But why does the ghost have to be sexually aroused by her? Why couldn't it just like want to mess around with other things? Like, what happened to ghosts just lifting up cups and being spooky? Why does it have to have some kind of horrible sexual connotation to it?
I guess you've not seen The Entity then.
No, I think I'm thinking of The Entity. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Where it's just the woman's being repeatedly sexually abused by the ghost.
I apologize, the
That's
Poltergeist
The
fans.
Entity.
Is The Entity I was talking about. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank God, yeah, dreadful film, that
Based
one.
on a true story, by the way.
Well, I mean, based on a true, if you believe in that sort of thing. And I've not had any ghosts fancy me, so I don't quite know, really, you know.
You don't know what you're missing, Benj.
I've never seen Poltergeist, actually. I've only seen bits of it.
And
I just remember at the time a review came out and said this movie has, and it listed a whole load of things like things falling down, things exploding, blah blah, and it listed every weird thing that happened in the movie, but it said, but there are no poltergeists in this movie. So why is it called Poltergeist? So
well,
I love the original 13 Ghosts, where they were like, when you go to the cinema and they say, right, now put on your ghost glasses and you can see the ghosts, and you put on your specs. This is like back in the old, you know, there's like some weird thing that they developed so that if you watch the film without the glasses, 1950s, I think.
All right.
So if you watch the film without the glasses, you can't see the ghosts. But if you put on your ghost glasses, you can see the ghosts. And they're like hilarious, like a skeleton on strings, you know, doing this sort of thing. And I think there's a ghost of a lion or something. Very bizarre. That's the original. I'll see if I can get a clip of it. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, yeah.
So anyhow, yeah, but one of my things with the whole, every time they would say the name Mr. Jones, I would get the who sings the song Mr. Jones and me.
Oh gosh.
Hold on. I had it.
Senior moment.
I had it, and then
by the way, I've seen Poltergeist 2, I think. And I think I saw it on VHS.
Poltergeist is really good. It's a really good movie, and as a younger person when I watched it, scared. Oh my God, terrified me. So many aspects of that movie. Like there's the scene where little kid is in his room and there's a storm outside and there's a tree right outside of his bedroom window. And so all of a sudden the tree is kind of clicking against the window.
Yeah.
And then, and then he's, of course, his imagination is going crazy and he's seeing things that it's not just a tree, but then the tree comes to life and comes into the room and wraps itself around the kid. Like all these branches and things are wrapped. And then pull him out the window. Terrifying when you're a little kid watching it.
That sounds even more terrifying than the Australian government's AIDS information film.
Bowling balls o'clock. It's just coming back really quickly to that 13 Ghosts. I've just found the trailer for it, which they're talking about it all. Of course, the irony of it all is that you've got loads of people reacting to ghosts, but because I'm not wearing the ghost glasses, I can't see the ghosts. So there's just a man going, ah! And you could just see nothing happening in front of him, just like a cloud of smoke. Then another ghost lifts up a pint of milk and just spills it.
So that's stupid. Horrible. That's the worst ghost of all.
I know. I wish it did that for me. I would have saved my breakfast.
Like that. You can move chairs on top of the table. You can do things, but spilling milk on my floor.
Who far?
No, I will get the exorcist immediately.
That's it. Holy water, flicking around.
To exorcise that ghost.
All right. It was the Counting Crows song, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones. Yeah.
You know this song?
I don't think we've got to the main melody yet. Hamster Jam.
Yes, Hamster Jam.
I don't recognize it so far. It sounds almost like about 3 other songs I can think of.
I just wanted to say the one thing.
Where's the bit about Mr. Jones?
I don't know. That's why I'm annoyed.
Well, all I know is that we're now done for copyright and shall be receiving a huge settlement here.
No, I think I had it in under the
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
It has to be a certain amount of time in order for copyright infringement.
Shelley is our legal representative.
Yes, I am. I'm a
direct all
doctor
queries
by
to her.
Google, and I am a lawyer by Google. So
There you go.
That's the way it goes. Well, I'm giving Under the Mountain. I'll give it a solid. I'll give it a 4 actually, because I think it's better than a 3, but not quite 5. But I really enjoyed it. I was sucked in by it, and I think that's good enough. You know, I'm intrigued. I want to see more, and that for me, you know, is.
Did you watch all of it?
No. Just watched the first episode, man.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't have time.
Yeah.
I've just been really busy.
Right.
So sort of, you know.
I watched little bits of the other episodes. Episode 5, for example.
The 2 that you could find on YouTube.
I'm giving it 4 exclamation marks for exactly the same reasons. Yeah, you know, want more. Shelley, what do you?
I'm going with 4.5 because I really want to give it a 5, but. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great story. I thought it kept me interested. The acting was pretty good considering. And I felt like it was a nice storyline, just the right amount of episodes, you know, not too much, not too little. So yeah, 4.5 from me. And I got to hear New Zealand accents, which I love. Eegs.
Fish and chops. Fish and chops. Yeah. That's the only thing I can say in a bad New Zealand accent. Fish and chops.
Fish and chops. Well, it brings us to the subject, the matter at hand. What are we doing next week?
Yeah. Something with Sam Neill. And do you think Sam Neill knew it as
something
a kid?
with Sam Neill? Something with Sam Neill?
No, all right. That's just... Do you think Sam Neill knew it as a kid and that's why he did the movie? Maybe?
No.
Probably. Well, I would assume it was so the book was.
Oh no, he wouldn't have been a kid
popular.
in 1981. But yeah, he probably knew the book, didn't he?
You know, but he just.
I wonder if it's
so
a good
popular.
book.
Well, he Maurice G won tons and tons of awards, and he's like one of the most prolific New Zealand authors. I was reading up on him, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, what are we thinking for next
Sam
week?
Neill was in Ivanhoe in 1982.
He was. I saw a clip of it. He was absolutely terrible in it. I saw it. It was on Talking Pictures TV recently.
I do like a bit of classic old Ivanhoe. I was just trying to think if there was something we could do from Sam Neill for just to fulfill your request.
What, Riley, Ace of Spies?
Riley, Ace of... Can you hear the ice cream van?
Yeah.
Ah.
Is that the right? Every time you say Riley, Ace of Spies, an ice
cream. Riley, Ace of Spies. 1983.
I watched it recently. I actually bought the DVD box set, and it's it's all right. It was just like mega back in the day, in the 80s. Everyone just thought it was the most amazing thing because I don't think anything like that had quite been made for British television before.
Riley,
it was very
Ace.
international.
I've never seen it.
Shot in all sorts of different countries. Yeah,
I've never seen it. But he looks very young, doesn't he?
I think it's made by Euston Films, isn't it?
Not a clue, I'm afraid.
I think it's made by the Sweeney people, basically. But
let's have a look.
It's a period drama. It's very
1895. Sidney Riley had an affair with Ethel Lillian Vonich and married. Oh, it's just trivia. I thought it was.
Just type Riley Ace of Spies TV series. This is called the Riley pause.
See, you've done it again now.
What?
The ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Ice cream man. Here we go.
We are still doing a podcast, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. It says I've just lost in looking for who did Riley Ace of Spies. I'm not seeing anything here to let me know.
Well,
it just says original network ITV, directed by Martin Campbell and Jim Goddard.
Martin Campbell, who did the Bond movies, yeah.
There's nothing British television drama. Yeah, there's nothing to say it is or not. Riley Ace of Spies, Euston Films.
That's exactly what I've typed in as well.
Sam Neill was in Jurassic Park.
Of course.
I would love to should we just cover Jurassic Park?
Let's do Jurassic Park. Did you finish the book?
I did finish the book. Yes. I did finish the book.
And it was a fun read, wasn't it?
Was it a fun read? I loved it. I was utterly addicted to the book.
Yeah.
I finished it in record time. for me, and the contrasts, the tales we could tell, the contrasts are
So
vast.
it might be fun to watch it again for you since you just read the book.
It would. I would actually really enjoy that. Nick's looking like,
and it's 1993, so that technically fits into
it is a
our
cult.
time zone.
It is a cult classic film, and I have to say it was
must
because
have it on DVD somewhere.
Was because of both of you as well that I decided to track the book down and read the book, and so to watch it again would be really interesting. I did have this some like random fans on the internet made a game of the Jurassic Park first person where you can get in the Jeep and just drive around a screen accurate representation of the park.
Wow.
It's really interesting that you can see all the gates and stuff, and
nice.
Pretty fun.
I like the Jurassic Park rides at Universal Studios. Those are fun.
Never been.
I have,
so
yes.
fun. So fun.
Well, we
It's
can
a
talk about
water
that
ride.
next week when
let's
we
do Jurassic Park.
discuss. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
right,
do it.
Nick. Yeah.
Get your Velociraptor claws out.
You get your Sam Neill.
Here and here.
Yes.
You get to see Sam Neill, and we don't have to sit through the Omen
and
2.
Jeff Goldblum.
Perfect.
It's the Omen 3 that Sam Neill's in.
Is he in the Omen 3?
Final conflict.
The only good Omen film is the first film. That's an insanely
He's the
good
grown
film.
up Damien.
He is.
He certainly is. Yeah, but once
I saw the second one first when I was 17. I felt really
God, you
bad.
poor thing. You poor thing.
I'd never seen a horror movie before that, a proper horror movie. So, and I went.
Wow.
And
At 17?
At 17.
Wow.
Well, because we're not allowed.
I read
until
The
18.
Exorcist when I was like 10.
This is explaining a lot of that.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think my first horror was like the Outer Limits. I think was the closest I got to the first horror film.
There was an awful support movie with it that we came in halfway through. We'd actually gone out to see Battlestar Galactica. But anyway, I saw Omen 2 instead. There was I really wish I could remember what the horror movie was, but it had Gabrielle Drake and one of Basil Brush's friends, not Mr. Derek, the one who came after
Jones?
Mr. Derek. Don't diss the Basil Brush reference.
I typed in Gabrielle Drake, and it just comes up, just says sexy horror actresses. The photo Gabrielle Drake has been viewed 773 times.
Well, there you go.
Dear, oh dear.
All of them by me. No. So anyway, it was a really dreary movie with lots of terribly simulated sex in it. But I just thought, oh my God, I'd never seen anything like this in my life. And I thought, is this what the Omen 2 is going to be like? Lots of simulated sex. Instead, it frightened the life out of me. But yes, I think you're right. Omen is the best one.
Yeah, of
Omen
course.
it's definitely.
It's all for you, Damien.
Oh gosh, yes.
The remake, I don't think was as good, to be honest. I don't think it had quite the.
Oh, the one with Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, I didn't think it was as good. The original
No.
one, though, the atmosphere in that film is, and the music, and that scene, the scene in the hospital where Mrs. Baylock, throws the woman out the window is just horrific.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, enough of that.
All
so
right.
next time it's, are you going to, we just get close to the microphone and say thanks.
Yes.
See you next time. Benji, you've got some credits to roll?
Yes, I do. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the Brian and Nigel Show. Reuben Kaiser was Michael Gambon. Mark Brown was George Baker. George Sutton was Bill Maynard, and Paula Sutton was played by Betty Etheridge. Cameraman, Nick Tedstone. Pianist, Nathan Martin. Window cleaner, Neil Allen. Bird supervisor, Hugh McIlroy. Tiger supervisor, Carl Scott. Submarine driver, 42nd Seagoon. We would like to exchange a huge thanks to the entire branch of Safeways in New Haven. The director was Oliver Cromwell and producer Richard IV. This has been a Red Ray Gun Limited production.